GDPR and CCPA continuous compliance challenges. For the purposes of this walkthrough, we're really going to focus on the governance of personally identifiable information, or PII, and how to operationalize data subjects' rights throughout enterprise data. The key question that many organizations are asking is, how vulnerable are we to a data privacy breach, which could cost millions in penalties, brand damage, and more? Across many vertical markets, there are some top 10 board-level challenges in assessing the risk. What is the risk exposure? There are staggering non-compliance penalties, the brand damage associated with it, and a potential bottom line impact on the financial situation of an organization. 2, data and applications. Understanding what data exists across the enterprise is a challenge enough, but how do you identify and secure PII throughout it? Also, what applications are in scope, and how do they have an impact on the whole governance framework? 3, the regulations themselves carry a lot of weight, and there are some ambiguities and room for interpretation in terms of what is a direct and indirect identifier for what business purpose, etc. Also, we have to take into mind that there are different nuances between GDPR and CCPA, and just using a GDPR approach can make an organization under or over compliant with CCPA. Data subjects' rights. It's paramount that an organization identifies all PII and has the ability to delete any PII upon request that isn't subject to other retention policies. 5, operational challenges of data subject requests are vast. If an organization hasn't mapped out all of its data and identified PII, it would require substantial manual processes, which are risky and costly to an organization in order to fulfill these requests. Governing PII. A customized and executable policy approach is vital in terms of mapping out your framework and how to respond to any requests from data subjects or consumers. 7, manual processes. It's clear that many organizations will hire teams and build out a people and process framework within the organization to address many of these challenges. However, relying solely on manual processes will fail to identify PII and sustain compliance. 8, not one size fits all. PII is complex, and the identification of it cannot be a cookie-cutter approach. It's paramount that companies do not rely on pre-canned models in order to classify and identify all of their PII. 9, post-breach PII identification. Organizations must have mapped out all of the PII throughout the organization in order to be able to notify affected data subjects accordingly. And 10, application risk and patching. Many organizations are using manual processes for patching, which are costly, risk-prone, and cannot keep up with new vulnerabilities. Some fundamental questions regarding information governance, or in this case, PII governance. Who has access to it? What kind of PII do you have? Where is it? When is it disposed? Why is it needed? And how is it used? It's incredibly challenging for an organization to answer all of these questions with certainty without having a technological framework or solution in place. There are some key data challenges for both regulations. Remediate. How does an organization deal with issues regarding sensitive data to achieve compliance? In the example of a data subject access request and the right to be forgotten as an example. Operationalizing data privacy practices. Again, relying on manual processes and one-time snapshots of data aren't going to achieve compliance. Sustainability is also a factor. That one-time snapshot, a full index at one given point in time, does not mean that you're compliant going forward, as the data landscape has changed as soon as that scan has been completed. Advantek's continuous remediation solution, or CRS, provides a comprehensive information governance platform to operationalize PII identification, classification, and remediation. Perhaps there's been no better time for organizations to implement a transformational information governance program supported by technology, processes, and people. The first stage of our solution involves the assessment. This is where we start to get an indication of volumes across the enterprise where we may not have had these before. Use some customizable dashboards in order to get some snapshots of the trends and characteristics of various repositories. This includes both structured and unstructured data. In the intelligence phase, GPU-powered machine learning is used to refine PII policy and analyze PII with scientific accuracy. In the action phase, 400 plus bidirectional connectors are leveraged in order to execute policy within the solution across all enterprise data. This will automate PII policy and other retention policies, and also operationalizes responses to data subject access requests and the right to deletion. Importantly, continuous remediation with incremental scanning will continue to address new PII, new legislations for data privacy and other mandates, new applications, and in a different stream, assess patch updates. We hope that this walkthrough has been useful and gives you a sense of how continuous remediation can operationalize your privacy program. On behalf of the Advantek team, thank you for your time.